Welcome back, everyone, to another explainer. So today we're diving into something that literally stops the globe in its tracks, the FIFA World Cup. But look, we're not just going to sit here and do a standard, run-of-the-mill recap of who won what. No way. We're going to look closely at the jaw-dropping records, the absolute extreme statistics, and honestly, the wildly strange history behind the world's most viewed sporting event. Whether you're a diehard football fan or just somebody who loves a good story about human extremes and bizarre anomalies, you are absolutely in the right place. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our agenda for today. 1. The humble beginnings. 2. Bizarre trophy history. 3. Record-breaking goals. 4. Shocking upsets. And 5. A global phenomenon. Starting right off with Section 1, the humble beginnings in 1930. So the very first FIFA World Cup was actually held in Uruguay back in 1930. I want you to just imagine turning on your TV for the World Cup today and only seeing 13 teams total. I mean, that was the reality back then. When we think of the tournament now, we expect these massive, grueling qualification rounds spanning years and across continents. But the starting line was incredibly modest. At the time, absolutely nobody knew that this relatively small gathering of just 13 teams would eventually snowball into the single biggest sporting event on the planet. It was truly just the beginning of a dream. Which brings us to Section 2, Bizarre World Cup Trophy History. Right, so after the tournament launched in 1930, global events quickly threatened its existence. During World War II, the original World Cup trophy was actually in Italy, and to protect this priceless, iconic artifact from being stolen or destroyed during the conflict, it was quite literally hidden inside an old shoebox and shoved under a bed. Just think about the sheer absurdity of that for a second. The ultimate global sports prize, surviving some of the darkest times in human history, all thanks to a humble shoebox. But wait, the danger definitely wasn't over. Jump ahead to 1966, and the trophy was outright stolen in England. Which leads me to this fantastic question. With the world's most prestigious sporting trophy entirely missing in England right before the tournament, who do you think saved the day? A crack team of detectives? Interpol? Nope, it was a dog named Pickles. Honestly, you really cannot make this stuff up. While today we have massive cybersecurity and heavily armed guards protecting these tournaments, back then the single biggest sporting event relied on the nose of a very good boy. Pickles discovered the stolen trophy just wrapped up in a newspaper. By literally sniffing out the prize, he saved the 1966 World Cup and became an overnight national hero. It is, without a doubt, one of the strangest and most delightful little footnotes in sports history. All right, moving on to Section 3, record-breaking goals and players. I want you to just think about the number 11. Take a breath. That took about 2 seconds. Now imagine doing that 5.5 times. That tiny, tiny window, just 11 seconds, is exactly how fast it took after kickoff for Turkey's Hakan Şükür to score a goal during the 2002 tournament. 11 seconds. It still remains the fastest goal ever scored in World Cup history. You blink, and millions of people literally missed it. Of course, extreme achievements on the pitch aren't always just about speed, right? Sometimes they're about legendary controversy. Take the 1986 World Cup. Argentina's Diego Maradona scored a goal that completely changed football history. Famously known as the Hand of God goal, it perfectly illustrates how a single split-second action can define a player and a tournament forever. I mean, it sparked these intense, passionate debates that are literally still raging decades later. And this brilliantly illustrates the other side of extremes. True, sustained dominance. We have to talk about the king, Pele. He won the World Cup with Brazil not once, not twice, but 3 times. 1958, 1962, and 1970. To this day, no other player in the entire history of the sport has ever matched this incredible 3-time championship achievement. He just stands entirely alone at the summit. Let's look at Section 4. Shocking upsets and scorelines. Picture the absolute largest stadium you've ever been to in your life and double it, maybe even triple it. Now imagine all 170,000 of those people going completely uncomfortably silent. During what is now known as the Miracle of 1950, more than 170,000 incredibly passionate fans packed into a single stadium in Rio de Janeiro. They were there to watch their home team, Brazil, win exactly as everyone expected them to. Instead, in just an unforgettable upset, Uruguay shocked the entire world and took the victory right in front of that massive, devastated crowd. The sheer scale of the heartbreak in that building is honestly hard to even comprehend. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how history kind of repeats itself, but even more extremely. Decades later, in the 2014 semifinal, Brazil was once again the host nation. But instead of a triumphant win, Germany didn't just beat them, they completely stunned them with a historic 7-1 victory. It was a scoreline that looked like it belonged in a completely different sport. Millions of fans worldwide were just left utterly speechless watching this jaw-dropping extreme unfold in real time. Bringing us right up to the modern era, we have the 2022 World Cup final between Argentina and France. Now, this wasn't a blowout, but rather a clash of titans that is heavily debated today as quite possibly the greatest match ever played. It had absolutely everything, culminating in Argentina finally lifting the trophy after a wildly dramatic penalty shootout. It was a perfect display of the ultimate high-stakes pressure cooker in sports, guaranteeing just an extreme emotional roller coaster for the fans. And finally, Section 5, a massive global phenomenon. So, remember those 13 teams in Uruguay back in 1930? Today, the FIFA World Cup is watched by literally billions of people. Half the planet stops whatever they're doing to tune in. For a few weeks, every 4 years, the entire world essentially unites through this single sport. It bridges cultures, time zones, and languages in a way that honestly nothing else really does. From shoeboxes and hero dogs to 11-second goals and billion-viewer audiences, the extremes of this tournament are just endless. So I want to leave you with this final thought. With this scale continuing to grow and billions of us eagerly watching, what seemingly unbreakable record is going to fall next? Will we see a faster goal? Maybe a 4-time winner? Well, only time will tell. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.